What are your real-life friends-to-relationship stories? One day, he had the chance to travel to a European country, but his visa application got rejected. He had already applied for leave from his workplace, so he thought he'd spend the time visiting another country instead. He chose to visit a Southeast Asian country that required no visa at the time, which happens to be where I live at. He had no idea I lived here, lol. I became his tour guide, and he loves the country so much, he visited twice every year. I brought him home one time so he can try our homemade food, and my family thought we're dating. Went through the whole "nah, he's just a friend" shtick for 4 whole years until he suddenly confessed at the airport. LMAO. Said that every time I wave goodbye at him, he felt so incredibly sad, he just wanted to run back to me. We are married for 2 years now. He still feels sad when I wave goodbye when he leaves for work, so I now kiss him goodbye instead. That's a pretty cool story. Gaming brought you two together, and then fate had you meet in person. The visa hiccup turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It's funny how your family thought you were dating all that time. That airport confession adds a nice twist. Now, you're married and still sharing those bittersweet goodbyes. Guess kisses really do help soften the parting moment. All of my relationships, except one, 17/18. I'm a funner-looking, bottom quartile of physical attractiveness as given by the proxy measurement of online dating match rates, but otherwise pretty awesome guy, who can only really date by having women get to know me for months to years. The general pattern is that I'll get to know someone, then months to years into our friendship I'll wake up to an email or series of text messages confessing feelings for me, often written at some late hour of night. The stories are all pretty similar. I'll get to know them, often through a common interest ranging from dancing to literature, or through a friend group. We'll be friends for a long time, become close friends, and then they'll develop feelings for me. We generally stay friends after breaking up, too. It's interesting how connections can develop over time. You meet people, share experiences, and then out of nowhere, someone drops a confession. It seems like you create a strong bond first. That foundation might make them see you in a different light down the line. At least you maintain those friendships after, which says a lot about the connection you built in the first place. Always good to keep that circle intact. My friends were the druggy boys who were always up to no good, and her friends were the smart girls who liked to drink on the weekends. We had one mutual who was our gay friend Ryan, and the girls were looking to have a party and needed people, so he offered to invite us, and we accepted. I found her very beautiful at first, but I'm perpetually a loser, so just didn't act on it, and this was college, so I was more focused on just making friends and having fun. Our different friend groups merged over time and we saw more of each other. I didn't realize how much I liked her until one time we were all hanging out and she had some guy over who she was interested in. I was immediately jealous, and despite trying to hide it, it was somewhat obvious. But I did excuse myself to hide a few times so she at least didn't pick up on it. Also, she's interested in this guy. But her best friend noticed. And she had actually just started dating my best friend, so she got drunk one night and asked us both privately if we liked each other. I'm sure her best friend told her I liked her, but didn't tell me, so I was still clueless for a bit, but eventually figured it out and asked her out. Been together 9 years now. Thank her best friend every day for helping me clueless us out. It's funny how things work out. I had a similar situation with a friend group. We had the wild ones and the studious types, and I was just trying to fit in. There was this girl I liked, but I never acted on it. It took a mutual friend nudging us to finally connect. Sometimes it takes a push from buddies to see what's right in front of you. Glad it worked out for you, man. He was a friend of my cousin's, and we met by playing Minecraft. We were best friends for years, and one day, while I was with my ex-girlfriend, we decided to do a road trip together to Yosemite. During the trip, we realized we had feelings for each other, but me, knowing I was in a relationship, told him we couldn't be together. He agreed, and we stopped speaking for a couple of years. My relationship with my ex had ran its course and I was in a really dark place. He was the only one I trusted enough to call for help and he picked up right away. We stayed friends for almost a year until I mentioned I was going to do seasonal work in Yellowstone. My mom asked him to come with me since this would be the first time traveling so far alone and he applied to the same job. We made plans to travel together there and fell in love all over again, smiley face. We've been together for about 3 years now and we're engaged. That's a pretty interesting story. Meeting over a game, then going through all that emotional stuff, only to reconnect later in a pretty big way. It's cool how sometimes people come back into your life when you need them the most. The fact that you both ended up getting engaged is nice. It's like everything fell into place after that rocky start. Life has its twists, huh? Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed. Love.